Hello friends, it's Zoe and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. It is truly the most wonderful time of the year, not because of the holidays, but because we get to crack open our new journals and set up for the new year. This is definitely my favorite video to make, and I'm so happy to be sharing new ideas with you all this year. While I love all of the artistic and intricate setups I've seen so far, that is just not my style of bullet journaling. I am more into simple, minimal, and easy setups, and in this video there are over 10 different layouts that I hope you can gain some inspiration from. I have a feeling, if you're anything like me, that you're watching a ton of these types of videos, and some of you may be new to my channel, so welcome! My name is Zoe, I'm 23, and I've been bullet journaling since 2016 and became a bullet journal ambassador in 2021. I've been doing this a long time, so if you have any questions or struggles at all, please let me know in the comments and I will definitely help you out. My corner of the internet is a community of journalers focused on healthy self-improvement and growth, and we'd love to have you, so please consider subscribing if you want to join along in our journey. Starting off with the first page of the journal, I wanted to make a little welcome page stating the year and the fact that this is my 11th bullet journal. I already chose this sticker in advance because I liked the positive and happy vibes, just setting the tone of the journal right from the beginning. Throughout the spreads, I will be using this happy golden yellow color to match the cover of my journal. With all my setups, I like to remind you that you don't need any fancy supplies to start journaling. A simple pen or pencil is just fine. It's more about trying new spread ideas that you think would be useful. You can think of your journal as a little experiment. It's not graded, no one has to look at it, it's completely and entirely your own, and it should serve you, not make you feel bad. And on that note, I already smudged the ink on my first page of my journal and I was feeling a little bit bad, but you know, it's fine, it's okay, we'll get through it. The next page will be the index. This is a place where you can keep track of the page number and journal entry so it's easy to find later. I also like to include a separate box for all the months of the year. I like to keep all 12 months of the year in one journal, so after I plan my beginning spreads, I divide the remaining number of pages by 12, which gives me about 14 pages for each month, which I found is more than enough for me. Some people like to split their year into 6 months and have one journal for 6 months of the year, but I found that I can fit all of my months in one. On the right page, I'm setting up my year at a glance spread. I wrote down all 12 months on this page, and while it's a bit time consuming, I found it relaxing and fun because I was listening to music. This whole entire setup took me about 3 hours, by the way. Most of that time was on this page and the next, and the rest are very quick to set up, like 10 to 15 minutes maximum. For this empty space on the bottom, you can either put a quote or a key or a sticker like me. I found these stickers that really match the color palette, and even though it really doesn't make sense, like what flavor would you like, it just is a little funny to me, the sticker, so I put it in just to make me smile, you know, like why is it spaced like that? Why is the F capital? It's just so funny. Anyway, for the next spread, I am setting up my future log. So if you're new to bullet journaling, this is where you write down all of the big year appointments, events, birthdays, holidays, things like that go here. So as you're filling out the journal as the year goes on, if things come up that are like way in advance that don't fit onto your monthly calendar spreads, you can put them into your yearly calendar spread or your future log. And right now you can see I'm cutting out a piece of my paper and I'm creating something called a Dutch door. So if you haven't seen a Dutch door before, it's a type of door that can open in the middle, kind of like the bottom half, the top half are split. So in bullet journal, this means that you have like a little mini page, and they're really cute. I like to do them. I'm going to be doing them a lot in this journal. But I think it's really handy because you don't need to write the header twice. You just need to write it once and it shows up on both pages. So I just think it's really cute too to have like a mini page in your journal. So I'm just cutting it out here, and I will be writing 6 months, so 3 months on each page. And then below the month, you can just write down any birthdays or holidays or appointments that you have in the future. This is also a pretty time-consuming spread, but after this, I promise they're all super easy. I've seen people print out the months too, or they have special stamps that you can buy that have the months on it. So if you're not into writing them, there's definitely other ways you can do this. Or, you could literally just write January and not have the whole dates listed underneath, but just have the date of importance, just put down January 1st is this holiday or this birthday and move on. A lot of these things can be adjusted to your time needs or what you'd like to do. Honestly, you can do whatever you want. So yeah, this is just how I'm doing it. This next page will be my word of the year spread. I already chose this sticker because I think it's so cute and goes along with my word for 2025, which is curiosity. Below writing down the word, I also write down the definition. So curiosity is a noun, and it's a strong desire to know or learn something, or a strange or unusual object or fact. So at this point in my life, I am pretty unsure about a lot of things. So I want to keep an open mind and a curious mind and ask myself, what if I tried this thing and gave it my all, and what if it all worked out? So just kind of setting a positive and inquisitive tone for next year, I think, is the move. There's a lot of things out of control, so just keeping a positive and curious mindset, I think, is the way to go. You don't have to take life so seriously. We're all just here learning and being on our journey. So yeah, curiosity was my word of the year, but there's lots of words that you can choose from. There's a lot of ideas on Pinterest. That's where I've seen many lists, like hundreds of words on there that people have done in the past. But my other words have been simplify, patience, mindful, create, inspire, and grow. But onto the right side of the page, I am setting up my goals spread. I like to keep the goals spread and word of the year side by side, just so you can see how they relate to each other. And in the past, I would write down a goal and just leave it at that. Like, okay, this year I want to exercise more, read more, things like that. But by the end of the year, when I didn't really meet my goal, I'd be like, oh, whatever, I don't really care anymore. So this year I'm trying out something new that I thought of, which is having a what, why, and how. So the what is the goal. So for example, I wrote down that I want to read 12 books in 2025. And writing the why, I think, is very key, because the how is pretty straightforward. 12 books in a year, so that means 1 book per month. But the main purpose of the bullet journal, which you might have caught in the beginning, is combining the what and the why. So you can set all these goals, but if you're not really asking yourself, why do I want to achieve these things? Why does it matter to me? It's not gonna really click why it matters. So I've been victim of, being influenced by a lot of things on the internet. Every day we're scrolling and we're just being fed all this information about what you need to do. Like everyone's telling you all these different things. And yes, you can just blindly follow them, but at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, like, do I really care about this? Does it really matter to me personally? Because these people on the internet don't even know you. They're not gonna care or even know if you follow what they're saying. So you're the one living your life, and you have to set your intentionality and what you want to do with it. And your why doesn't even have to be that life-changing or groundbreaking. It can simply just be because it looks fun, you know? So yeah, mini rant over, onto the next thread. The next page is my fun spreads, which are my watch log and book log. So on the left side of the page, I have my watch log, which includes my TV shows and movies into one page. I don't really watch too much of either, so it fits on one page for me, but in the past I've used 2 pages for the 2 of those things. But basically I have 4 columns. So on the left column I have a little movie icon and a TV icon. So I'll just write a check mark for what I've watched, is if what I've watched was either a movie or TV show, and then the date that I watched it. So for a movie it'll just be one date, but if it's a TV show I write down the start date and then the end date of when I finished watching it. And then the middle column is for the title. And then the right column is 5 spaces wide to rate the movie or TV show out of 5. And then on the right side of the page, I have my book log. So this is similar to what I set up last year, but I actually ran out of space. So that's why I created another Dutch door, you know, my fave. But basically, on the little Dutch doors part, I will write down the book title and author. And then on the right side of the page that is visible even when the little page is down, we'll have a big box, which is 12 rows wide and 31 days tall. So the width of the box is for the months and the length of the box is for the days. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's hard to understand when I didn't fill it out yet. But basically, I will take a color. So let's say I read this book on January 1st. I'll take this color, fill in the box that is 1 and 1. So January for the vertical, and then the day 1 for the horizontal. And then using that color, I'll just color in all the days that I read that book. And then on that little flap, I'll, write the color again, and then write the title and the author of the book. If that makes 0 sense to you, please watch my flip through that'll be coming out later this year, and you can see how I actually filled it out. But hopefully I explained it well. This next page is my music log, keeping up with my media trackers. So I also made a Dutch door, surprise, surprise, but I wanted to keep a box for each month. So every page will have 4 months of the year on it. In the past, I would do like my top 10 songs of the month and have them all on one page. But I found that sometimes I don't really have 10 songs that I liked. Sometimes I only had like 5 songs that I really liked that entire month. So I'm keeping it pretty open this year, and hopefully I'll have like at least top 5 songs, but this is just a kind of an open space for me to write down maybe top artists, top albums, top songs, but keep it flexible. I'm excited to see how this one turns out this year. Since I have, 4 spaces on each page, I have a blank page at the last page. So that'll be where I write down my Spotify Wrapped. But honestly, after this year, I have little hope for Spotify Wrapped now. So I'm glad I used Last.fm, because what the heck was that? Like, they didn't show anything. No genres, albums, nothing. I was so disappointed this year. But anyways, I want to know what your top artists were this year. I'm needing some new music recommendations, so let me know and I'll share mine too. I think my top artist was Wave to Earth, which I'm not surprised by. And then my other top artists were people that I saw in concert, like Lainey and Porter Robinson, and then I always have Hippocampus on my top artists as well, and the Wallows. But I also listened to a lot of K-pop and R&B this year too, so I'm kind of sad it wasn't included at all in my Spotify Wrapped at all, but oh well. This next page is my YouTube video spread, so if you don't make videos, this will be maybe not as applicable to your life, but maybe you have some other project going on year-long that you can track in a similar way. But basically, I wrote down all 12 months of the year, but I just drew the shape of the month, starting with January, February, and March, kind of listed vertically, and then the next quarter, next quarter, next quarter. So there's like 4 quarters of the year split up into columns on the page, and then in that itty-bitty space to the right of the month, I will write down kind of the video idea that I want to do that week. So thankfully for me, I can write small, and the thing that I need to do can be shortened to, an acronym. So I wrote down an example of my February plan with me, and I want to finish that within the last week of January. So I'll just pencil in these ideas, and then once I actually publish the video, I'll go over in pen and write a check mark on the day that it was uploaded. It's simultaneously a planner for the year, but also kind of a tracker. Because I'm writing in pencil my ideas and then penning in what I actually do, it's a nice working document, I feel like. And then there's lots of space on the bottom for me to write down more video ideas maybe that I have, but just don't know when I'll be able to do it. Or maybe I can write down my stats or income from here. So there's a lot of empty space on the bottom. Maybe I'll write down my why also, since that seems to be a theme for me. But yeah, I'm excited to use this page because it looks very functional. Here I go, cutting out another Dutch door for my next spread, which is my Keep in Touch spread. So I've been doing this style of spread for a long time now, and people really liked it last year, so I'm sharing it again. And I'm actually creating more space for it because I found that I would fill up the page and then end up needing like 1 or 2 more pages of this Keep in Touch spread throughout the year. So since I've been doing it for a while and I know how much space this spread takes up, I just went ahead and made the Dutch door. But basically, I just have columns for the date, name, and then if I sent this person a letter, called them, or FaceTimed them. So it's very simple, and it's just set with the goal of keeping in touch with my friends and family. Now that I've moved back home, I found that I am pretty far away from my college friends in California. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping in touch with them as well, especially now that I don't even know when the next time I'll be back in California is. So it can be hard, people get busy, so just kind of keeping track of like when's the last time I talked to this person is helpful for me, since I kind of let the days slip by. I'm in my own little world sometimes, so it's good to look back on this and be like, oh, let me hit up this person. Okay, this next page, I am also doing another Dutch door. I think this is my last one, but I am tracking my screen time. So this is a new spread for me, but I wanted to set this page up because my main goal is to have less screen time, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. I feel like we're all kind of battling our phones, which are designed to keep us addicted to them. So even though they're so essential to our life now, like you can't really go a day without your phone, well, it'll be hard to. But yeah, I definitely want to have less doom scrolling this year. It's definitely a big goal. And I want to track my screen time by week instead of day, which is new to me. I think it's better to have a more holistic approach to screen time just because each day is very different, and there are going to be days where you do need to use your phone more, just with like Google Maps, or maybe you're FaceTiming or having meetings on your phone. So sometimes for me, if I kind of broke my daily goal and like went over it, I'd be like, oh, guess I can just use my phone however long I want now because I already went over my goal, but obviously that's not really the best way to go about it. So having a weekly, like more holistic approach to screen time has helped me lower it. For the actual page setup, I have, I think it's the first like 13 or 14 weeks laid out. So I have the week on the left side, and then I have my daily average and the total. Those are the two main things. And then to the right of that, I also have a separate column for Instagram because that is my main op. Like, Instagram takes up so much. It's like probably half of my screen time is on Instagram, and it's just doom scrolling. So having like a separate call out to Instagram would be helpful for me. But I think as the year goes on, I didn't set up all of the weeks just because I wanted to have some flexibility in, you know, what I'm tracking, because maybe my Instagram time will go down and then a different app will be my new op, but hopefully not. So we'll see. I'm just keeping the page blank and flexible, but I definitely do want to hopefully keep tracking it week by week, but we'll see what happens by the end of the year. Okay, my next page is my cooking spread. So my goal for this year is to learn more recipes and also just be more proactive in meal planning. Cooking is really one of those unavoidable things, so I might as well try to get better at it and have more fun with it. I do get a lot of fun recipes recommended to me on Instagram. I do want to try those out, so man, my screen time and cooking goals are not aligned, but that's okay. So hopefully on the spread on the left, I'll write down maybe the recipes that I tried, and then when I'm thinking of what I can cook that week, I'll look back at this spread and just choose from there. And then on the right side, I have my period tracker. I've never really tracked my period before, but I feel like it's one of those things that I probably should be more aware of. So I'm doing a similar setup to my reading log, which was the 12 months of the year and then the 31 days for the rows. And I'll just fill it in. What happens, you know, just to keep track of it. And my goal with my period is also to learn more about the different traits of the cycle phases. I kind of don't really think about the biology of our bodies and how it literally affects us because it's so subconscious, you know, as it should be. But it's subconscious, but it has a huge impact on your life. So I think I should know more about it. I don't really know too much, so I want to learn. You know, that ties into my curiosity for the year. So yeah, just understanding maybe what is typical during the different phases of the period. Sometimes I do hit a low every 4 weeks and I'm like, oh my god, it's because of this. So yeah, having more education about it is definitely good. Okay, we've made it to the last spread. If you stuck by me to the end, shout out, you're a real one. On the left side, I have my 2025 ins and outs spread. This was very popular last year, and I didn't actually do one. I wanted to try it out this year. I kind of did ins and outs like midway through the year last year, and it was really fun, so I wanted to do that again. And then on the right side, I have my 2025 themes spread. I made this last year on a whim just to like fill up the last page of my journal, and it actually was so fun. So I definitely want to do it again. It became one of my favorite pages of my bullet journal for sure. I've never really stuck to doing, 12 themes in a year, but 2024 was the first time I did that, and it was so gratifying and fun. So I definitely want to do it again. So I'm very excited to see how this year plays out, what kind of themes I'll be doing. If you have any theme requests, please let me know in the comments too. I definitely would love to know your thoughts. But yeah, up next is the flip through. Here is the final flip through of my 2025 bullet journal setup. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me throughout this year and this channel, and I'm super excited to be starting 2025 with you. If you'd like to follow along in our bullet journaling journey, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would really love it. It's gonna be a good year. I'm gonna have so many more videos, so it'll be fun. Please let me know also what your favorite spread was. I think my favorite one was, it Maybe my YouTube video one. Yeah, I think that was my favorite. Maybe also, I'm really curious about my screen time tracker. That's like gonna be my biggest challenge this year. But I think it's good to, have less wasted time and less brain fog. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. I'll also be having another bullet journal setup coming out for my bullet journal that I made for my cousin, and it'll be more beginner friendly. So stick around for that as well.